bread. Myself and my wife became addicted to suya. We'll eat it, everybody. Oh, but all of a sudden, after a couple of months, I noticed that I started having dizziness. You were having a headache. I was having dizziness. What is this? I don't drink now. So I have to be very deliberate, otherwise I will miss my step. So I said, what is this? I now went to check my blood. Your PCV was 43. Your PCV was what? 47. Mine was 54. By the time they drew the blood, very thick and dark. Excess blood in fact, it was God that helped me. That it would have led to stroke. Because as the blood is getting thickened and more thickened, as the viscosity is increasing, it would have clotted within the arteries and formed a stroke. Okay, so they told me that time too, because I wasn't practicing this at that time, to start donating blood, and I used to donate. You don't have to donate monthly, okay? But you can donate every 3 months or every 6 months. But importantly, what to do for it not to happen again. All that talk about animal proteins, you are the one that should take it on your head. Stop eating beef, chicken, turkey. Stop totally. Because what is happening, some people were different. Some people form more blood than other people. And there's actually a condition called polycythemia rubra vera. Sometimes it's a situation where the person forms a lot of blood. And usually people who suffer die of stroke. Okay? So reduce for blood to form, blood needs protein. So let the proteins you are getting only be from plant-based. Don't abuse animal protein, because animal protein is actually too much protein for your body. Some people get worried. If I stop taking beef, how will I be getting my protein? There's protein in plants. Yes, they didn't teach us the very wrong things that they taught us in school. Now, sir, come here, my boy, come here. You can't give what you don't have. I can only ask him to give me this thing because he has it. But he was not born with it. It was when he came to this camp, he acquired it. Are you still here? If we go to cow and goat and whatever to get proteins, they acquire their protein from somewhere. From where? Plants. So you are getting second-hand protein from animals. Tokumba proteins. So you're eating a lot of vegetables and fruits, gives you enough proteins. That beans, that's why I said beans. Adequate protein. If you're a beans eater, you don't suffer protein lack at all. Are you still here? So, sir, stay with fish. Okay? Chicken, beef, turkey, reduce them. Stay with fish. Numbers 11 verse 25. The slave said, we remember the fish that we used to eat in Egypt, and the cucumber, and the cabbage, and all the other things. So fish is good. Okay? Did you hear what I just said? He's talking. Very powerful question he just asked. Eating bread and meat, how do you solve it? Sir, so your wife is not here. Get this, video and let her watch it. In fact, if your children are of age, if they will understand, all of you sit down and watch it. And then have a family meeting. All of you make up your mind that you are going to reduce it. You can't stop it overnight. Because, not even because of your children, it's you. You are the greater addict. Okay? So reduce it drastically. Half days. Maybe Tuesday and Friday for bread. Buy it. So you stop it little by little. And then you don't even have to stop it altogether. Just those Tuesday and Friday is enough bread for the family. Are you still here? Okay? But for the meat, you can also reduce it drastically. But the more important is you have gotten an information, act with it. Okay? Or act on it. Mama eats fufu, and she's wondering whether fufu is very good or not. Well, you can eat fufu, but fufu is heavy carbohydrate. Heavy carbohydrate. So I will say don't eat it every day. Eat it maybe thrice a week, every other day. And when you eat it, don't eat big servings because it's heavy carbohydrate. Now listen, if you eat beans that fills this place, mommy is not watching. If you eat beans that fills this place, somebody give me something to hold this with. Thank you. If you eat beans that fills this place now, if you eat akpu that fills only here, the calorie this akpu will give you is almost equal to or more than the calorie that these beans will give you. So when you have to eat akpu, you eat it little because it contains a lot of calorie. Are you still here? That's why this is in that wise, Northerners are better at eating carbohydrates. Intelligent eating of carbohydrates. Northerners are better than us because Northerners eat grains, millet, guinea corn. Those are things that. Have you ever seen an obese Northerner? I mean real Hausa Fulani, obese, and then they are going like this. They exist, but very rarely. You see them tall and everything because our source of carbohydrate here is heavy. Cassava is heavy source of carbohydrate, so eat it little. Praise God. So I finished this one, and then some other questions here. I will just run through it. Is there any effect when you eat late hour? Yes, there's an effect. But if you cannot afford not to eat late hour, make sure you do exercise. And then eat little, do an exercise, take your walk. But if you can do without it, by 6, 7, make sure you have eaten your dinner. But if you eat late, and then maybe you eat around 10, and then you stroll into the bed. Some people, while they are even eating, they are sleeping. It's a very terrible thing. Oh. The food will just settle into your body, and before you know it, you just be rounding up. People will be saying evidence of good living. They don't know the person is going nearer his grave. When you eat late and taking your bath immediately after bed, you can take your bath immediately after bed. It doesn't mean anything. In fact, you should take your bath if you have the strength. Concerning infertility issues, someone close to me has low sperm count that requires surgical operation. Yes, which he did last year. Thank God the surgery went successful, but still the sperm doesn't still is still not up to. Please, sir, what is the to? So, in fact, thank God for this question. I wanted to mention it also. A man came to me in the course of last week. He has 0 sperm count. Course of last week. He said when he was a young person, like 13, he was feeling pains in his scrotum. They took him to chemist, they gave him painkiller. The thing continued for like 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, he stopped. He said 5 years later, the first one was right side. 5 years later, he had the same experience. This time around, the left side. Pain. This one lasted, and this one was more severe. In fact, they took him to hospital. They gave him injection. But it was a local operation somewhere in Kwara State, Ilorin. He said it was when he got married, they started checking his sperm, and they didn't see any sperm cell there, that the urologist told him that what he was having that time is called torsion. That's called torsion. So what is happening is because the testis dangles. In fact, this is good. The testis dangles. So sometimes, imagine if these things were a bit more loose, and then this balloon, one of the balloon is twisting around the other ones. That's what happens for some young persons or in some men. The testis will start twisting around itself. How do I explain it? It starts twisting around itself. So I went to all this length to say this. If you're a young boy here and you ever feel pain in your testis, you feel pain in your testis, say out, tell mommy, tell daddy let them take you to the hospital. If it's a one-day thing, it's okay. But if it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, so what happens is after a long time of twisting around itself, blood supply will be cut off from the testes, and then that testis will die. So what happened to that man is that as a teenager, one of the side died, and 5 years later, the other one died. And he's about 57 now. He's dealing with infertility. Are you still here? Did I say something? Okay, so torsion. So some other person, so like the person who asked this question now, also in some other persons, in some other men also, there will be plenty of blood vessels around the testes. Okay? And then it can cause that place to be too hot. The testis, that's why God made sure it is dangling outside. The testis is not supposed to be in a hot environment. That's why God made sure it's dangling outside the body. That's why it is wrong to wear pants that tight you. Oh yes, that's why, you know, in those days when we were growing up, sir, we used to wear what we call pants. That white pants. And it was destroying many people. Boxers are better, but let the boxers be free so that place